Peace, love, and positive vibes, y'all. I just want to make sure I got everything proper right now. Give me 1 second. Peace, y'all. Peace. Excuse my. I want to thank you so much for your patience and appreciate y'all being here tonight. Peace, love, and positive vibes to you and yours. Welcome back to another episode of Monotfahme. It's Monotfahme Monday. We are presented by Survival Mode Music and Media. So shout out to them for that. Thank you. And thank you guys for being here on this beautiful Monday. We are still doing our healing series. Today we're going to talk about what we put on our bodies. And I got some other stuff too that I wanted to talk about. That's kind of like, I guess, sort of what we put in our body. But last week we talked mostly about food and our diet and what we eat, which is what a diet is, by the way. Diet doesn't necessarily mean that you're like starving yourself of things and like that crazy cycle that people get themselves in sometimes in dieting. But a diet is actually what you eat. So like no matter what you eat, that's your diet. um but yeah, last week we kind of talked more about diet and stuff like that and like what we eat in our bodies, that type of in our body. um I do want to talk kind of like about what we consume in other ways too, and then also what we put on our bodies. So let's kind of like start with um what we put on our bodies. Thanks guys for showing up. Peace to y'all. Appreciate you being here. So like it's super important what we put on our bodies. I don't know if you guys remember last week when Jewel was on, she said something that I want to bring back up, and that is that our skin is the largest organ in our entire body. It is made up, the average human, like adult, has about 5 million pores in their body. So if you can imagine, that's like a lot of little tiny holes that lead directly into your body. And your skin is something that where whatever you put on your skin, it goes into your body. So it eventually ends up like in your bloodstream, and anything that goes in your bloodstream is pumped through your entire body. Like, period. So there's that. So you have to think about that and be conscious of that when you are trying to grow and heal yourself. For lack of a better term, I say heal yourself, but in all reality, we're always healing. It's more a sense of growing than it is really healing, because it's not like we have these things that are like wounds or something that we can actually see. Um, but we do sometimes have things that are wounds or trauma that we have to heal from. But we're always growing. We learn from those things. They probably don't ever really go away. I guess some things happen in our lives that we never really we're not going to forget that those things happened, but we're able to learn from those experiences and grow from them. And that comes from changing our perspective on things and how we choose to view things. But anyways, back to putting things on our body. That's part of our growing and being better self. Healing or growing and being a better self is taking care of our bodies and understanding that what we put on ourselves or in ourselves affects us mentally, and it affects our health. So I don't know, what are some of the things that you guys use for like cleansers, or do you guys use face wash or like body washes or lotion or things like that? Does anybody want to share maybe like a face wash that they use or a body wash that they use? I know me personally, I used to use like Dove, a lot of Dove. I was in love with Dove. And I used to use, I don't know, a lot of that kind of stuff. But if you turn the back and you look at the back of the bottle, you'll notice that there's a whole lot of crazy words back there that you probably cannot even pronounce, most of them. And I would challenge you to take a few of those ingredients and look them up, do a little bit of research on them, and see how they affect you, your skin, your body, over time. How do they affect you? Because here's the thing, is that we don't necessarily see instantly when something isn't good for us, unless it's like an instant reaction where you have an allergy. We don't always see instantly when something isn't good for us. It builds up over time, you know. So you're not going to notice maybe right away that the body wash that you're using is causing issues in your body, because it's going to take time. And then once those symptoms start to show, we don't always think like, huh, I bet that was my body wash. You know, like, do you guys think like that? Do you ever think like, oh man, geez, you know, something's going on with uh my body? Is it my body wash? We don't always think that unless it's like a rash or, like I said, an instant allergic reaction. That's the only time that we're going to try attempt to correlate those things. But in all reality, things like that can build up in our bodies over time and create issues like skin cancer, or even cancers inside of our body that aren't skin cancer. And which sounds crazy, but again, go back to the fact that everything we put on our bodies goes in our bodies, right? So it's inside of our entire body. You said you use dial soap on everything except your hair. Okay. Dial soap too is one of those soaps that is an antibacterial soap. And antibacterial soaps have been known to cause super bugs. They're a residual kind of soap. So they sit there and then they create like layers. Like even when you wash it away, it never really fully goes away. And I can't say that it necessarily sits there on your skin forever and creates layers. But like, for example, if you're using household products that are antibacterial, or even bleach is terrible. I know people probably I might get bashed for that. Yeah. Y'all don't kill the messenger, but bleach is terrible and it is residual. It sits there. If you wash your floors with bleach and stuff like that, you can wipe it away and it doesn't really ever fully go away. It sits there and just builds up. And when we're killing bacteria or germs with those types of things, they start to become immune to them and mutate and get stronger and not be able to be killed by those things anymore. And that's the same thing with I'm sorry, what's that stuff called? The hand sanitizer. Oof. Yeah, that stuff is terrible. Hand sanitizer is terrible. If you want to use something to sanitize your hands, you're better off getting a little spritz bottle. And, you know, like say you get a bottle this big, a spritz bottle, you would put water in it. I would personally say use like, if you have distilled water or if you have purified water, I wouldn't use tap water I would use tap water as little as possible in my life. I mean, I do personally, but I'm saying for all of us, it's important for all of us. And then a few drops of lavender oil actually is a way better hand sanitizer than the ones that you can get from the store that are like alcohol based and whatever other stuff they have in there. Those are no good. So like whenever you look at the things that you're using on your body, I obviously can't tell you what to do. I just very highly suggest that you try to get as close to nature as possible, with everything that you put on and in your body. You know, we've been conditioned to use things like Vaseline, which, I grew up with it too. Like, we grew up with a big tub of Vaseline in the house always, and it's not good for us. It's made from products, chemicals that are main chemicals in plastics, gasoline. Petroleum is a main chemical in gasoline and plastics, which are both toxin. They're poison. Like, you wouldn't put gasoline on your skin, I would hope. Um, please don't. I don't think that's a good skin regimen. Please don't do that. Um, and that brings me to another thing too, is our clothes. You guys, we have to be aware of these types of things. I'm just as guilty. I'm not just talking to you guys. I hope you understand that we're all learning together, and we can always get better. And execution is key. There are things that I know are better for me, good for me, and I don't necessarily do them. It's not that I'm perfect or I know everything. It's just there are some things that I do know, and what I do know, I would like to share with you guys. So even if you don't see me doing it, I'm not perfect either. So well, actually, we are perfect. We're all perfectly just how we are. We're perfect. So our idea of perfection is skewed. I got to stop saying that we're not perfect, because we are perfect. So I too, though, am working on becoming a better self and making changes in my own life. Always, every day, I hope to be a better version of myself than I was yesterday. So back to it anyway. So our clothes, like, cotton clothes are great. Hemp clothes are great. Polyester is literally plastic. Plastics leach toxins in everything that they touch. So imagine if you're wearing polyester all day, or plastic. You're wearing plastic all day long, and you sweat in that, and then it's going into your skin. And if it goes into your skin, it's then going into your body again. Do you see the connection? These types of things, they mess with our neurological systems over time. They start to mess with us on all levels. They mess with our stomach. They mess with, our digestion. They mess with, like I said, neurologically. They mess with our heart. They mess with how our blood functions properly. All these things affect us. So the more we can minimize them, the better. I mean, even if you can't live where every single thing that you own is cotton, okay, cool. But if we can start to minimize some of the things, like, I'm sure this scarf that I have around my neck right now, I don't even know what the ingredients are on this scarf. It's probably made of trash, y'all. I'm sure it's made of something that's probably not good for me, right? So the least we can do these types of things, the better for ourselves. Maybe some of you out there can even be better at this than I am, and be stronger in your decision making than I am. You see what I'm saying? But with that knowledge, at least and you can begin to make your choices. Maybe you guys already know some of these things, and cool. If you know some things that I don't know, share them with me, because we're here to learn together, and that's what this platform is for, us to learn together and to speak together. So if you guys know something I don't know, please share it with me. Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about other things that we put inside of our bodies and consume in a different way rather than just food. For example, I want to talk about all the TV that people consume. Originally this show, Monotfahme, was going to be a show to basically talk pretty much all about TV and that kind of stuff. The show originally started off by a different name called Kill Your TV. When I was a teenager and I had my first apartment, I had a old TV, like one of those two back TVs, which at that time, by the way, was not an old TV. It was a normal TV. But this TV had the cord cut off of it, and with a permanent marker, I wrote "kill me" on the screen because I don't know. Ever since I was young, I've always had this like disdain for TV. I never was the kid that was just going to sit inside all day and watch TV. Or even if I was inside, I wasn't going to be sitting in front of the TV all day long. Uh, I can't explain it. It's just one of the things I brought with me, I guess. One of my remembrances that I brought with me, one of my little pieces, one of my jewels. We all have them. Maybe you guys can remember or think of some things in your life like that you've just kind of always known innately and you can't even really explain it. You've just kind of always known. Well, TV was one of those things that, you know, a lot of kids love to watch TV. Like, I just never was one of those kids. There was some things that I did like to watch. I did enjoy from time to time watching some certain cartoons or, you know, movies or TV shows, but yeah, not a big fan of it. And to this very day, I actually don't even have TV, like regular TV in my house. I have like internet. So yeah. I don't watch TV to this day. So with that being said, one of the things that we consume a lot of and it affects us in so many ways of our life is TV programming. And this is something that we can minimize and we can really make a conscious effort to change how much we watch. And the thing about it is with TV, if you are an avid TV watcher, like if you're somebody who watches TV every day, it may feel very difficult for you to just stop watching TV or even to minimize your TV at first. It may feel kind of difficult, like a challenge for you, because it is, in fact, addictive and it does put people in a state of trance so that they are easier to manipulate and easier to control. If you're in a state of trance, your conscious mind is paying attention, like, but not really because it's kind of asleep. And your subconscious mind, though, is always paying attention. And the subconscious mind will pick up things that are happening that your conscious mind may not even notice. And your naked eye may not even be able to see. Your naked ear may not even be able to hear. And, you know, for hopefully I don't sound to anyone like a crazy person or a conspiracy theorist, for lack of a better term, but there are people that do like to manipulate and control the masses and the public and society as much as possible. And they do utilize things like TV and movies and video games and music to deliver messages to brainwash people. There is subliminal messaging in that stuff. I mean, it's not something that I'm making up. It's not something that I just heard about like 3 days ago on Facebook or something that I heard on a YouTube video from a YouTuber like last week. This is something that I literally have done research on and know and have known for double-digit years. There's people out there that have done great amounts of research and study on on the effects of watching TV and the subliminal messaging that is put inside of these shows. And you would think that, like, children's shows, those seem like they would be safe shows to watch, right? I mean, they're educational and fun, and they teach a positive message and things like that, right? But even those shows are tainted. They are contaminated with the same type of crap that you're going to find in regular TV programming. And they also have marketing for advertisements perfectly placed for children, obviously, because that is the market. But it makes your kids come to you constantly asking you for things that they don't necessarily even actually want. And they most times will not even use. Have you guys ever bought your kid a toy, like something that they just like so adamant? They were so adamant that they had to have it. Like, they wanted this toy so bad, right? I bet every parent watching right now, whether you're watching live with us or you're watching the replay, can remember and attest to a time where their child wanted a toy so badly. And then once they got the toy, sure, maybe they liked it for about 5 minutes or so, right? A day. I mean, I'm kind of exaggerating on the time because it varies. You can't say exactly the amount of time, but didn't play with it for very long. And now all of a sudden they just like, they're bored from it. They don't even care about that toy again. They may never even pick that thing up ever again because it wasn't something that they actually desired. It was something that was like programmed into them to want. And this is something that they do constantly to us. We're constantly being bombarded with programming and messages and advertisements, and our brains are overloaded with this type of stuff. It's something that you need to be aware of and conscientious of. I obviously cannot tell anybody what to do with their life, and I can't tell you to just, throw your TV out into the trash like I would love for everybody to do. It's so sad because it's really like a tool that could be utilized in such a beautiful way, and I feel like it's just been used, it's been weaponized and used to damage instead of used for positive. And they don't just use it for brainwashing us on an everyday basis, but they do use it on an everyday basis of brainwashing people. They literally teach people what to think, what to feel, how to eat, your temperament, how you react to certain things, what your opinion is on certain things. And they sway us, and by how they show us to treat one another. And it's crazy because many people won't even realize that this is happening to them because they're so sneaky with it, and it's done on such a like psychological level, like that, like I said, your conscious mind doesn't even realize it's happening. But just knowing that this is a reality, that in and of itself helps to kind of break that spell. So anyone who's listening right now, being aware of this, as long as you're not sitting here like, Melody's fucking crazy, like whatever, and you totally block it off. Even then, I honestly don't even want to say that you can't still be awakened by that, because when you plant a seed today, it doesn't grow today. It takes time to germinate and blossom and grow into the plant that it is. So, even me just speaking to you right now is at least planting a seed inside of you, so that maybe you can be conscientious of it. And maybe if it doesn't spark to you right now, one day it may spark to you and you realize, like, holy shit, like, I was in a great mood until I watched this show, and it really irritated me. It made me feel angry. Afterwards, I felt tense. My body felt tense. I felt anxious. I felt angry. Like, I was snapping at family members. Like, these are real things and real symptoms of watching TV. They really do use our emotions against us, and they really can change your emotions just by putting certain things in front of you. Have you ever noticed, let's talk about social media for a second, because it's another one, which I know I'm on social media right now. I know the irony of that. I get it. Like, I definitely do get the irony of that. But it's not about what you do. It's about how you do it. So do you have to totally stop watching TV and just shut it off and unplug? No, you don't have to. It would be great if we did. And sometimes you do need to do that in detox. And if you're somebody who watches TV all the time, I would suggest that you do unplug for like at least a week. I would say even longer. If you can handle a whole month, that would be awesome. And unplug and detox from it. That would be great. Absolutely. 100%. But social media, it's about limiting and being, just aware of how much you utilize it. But this is one way too that people's emotions are played with. Have you ever noticed that, like, you'll be really in a great mood, or maybe even in an average mood, even, it doesn't matter. It doesn't even mean you don't even have to be elated. Like, you could just be in a regular, you feel great. You feel even keel and balanced. You're cool, right? And you go on to social media and you're scrolling, and the next thing you know, you come across, like, I don't know, a fight video or rest in peace stuff, or somebody who's against you and something that they say. It doesn't matter what the scenario is, doesn't matter what the topic is, but maybe somebody that disagrees with you. It's like you're seeing these things pop up, or when something negative happens, we see people constantly posting about it. And this isn't to say anything bad about the people who are posting these things. It's more to just show you that when we see these things repetitively, it affects us. So, like, you could go from being in a good mood to now feeling down or depressed or angry or, disassociated. These things affect people's mental health. And I'm not saying that you have to shut your social media off, but what I'm saying is be aware of these things. Be conscientious of it. If you notice that these things are affecting your mood, it's up to you to make the conscious effort. You know what I mean? You have to say, okay, when I go on Facebook all day, it makes me anxious. It makes me agitated, or I don't get enough things done, or I can't focus. These are things that I've had happen to me. I notice if I'm on social media too much, I have a hard time getting into what I need to be doing or focusing, because I'm like addicted. It's addictive. So, like, I'll keep going back to check something. For what? What are you checking for? It's not that serious. I have personally myself taken the apps off my phone just so that I could purge and detox from that for a little while, because I needed that time away to literally prove to myself that I could do it. Because that's the thing, is we become addicted to these things, whether it's TV, whether it's video games, whether it's social media. these things have addictive qualities to them on purpose. I mean, they're very purposely used because they're addictive, and they can relay messages to us. Now, part of the reason that I want you to be conscientious of this is because these things affect our mental health, and our mental health is huge. You know, how you feel on a day-to-day basis is going to affect how productive you are in your life, and the quality of life that you live, and the quality of, you know, things you produce, whatever it is that you do. If you're a creative person, I'm a videographer, so I create. I get to edit videos, and I make logos and flyers and things like that. I'm a graphic designer. And so if I can't focus on those things because I'm too distracted, it's not very good. But that's what happens to me sometimes. I get distracted by social media and stuff like that. So, if you yourself find yourself doing the same type of things, either taking your aggressions out on other people that is directly related to things that are happening to you on social media, you're seeing on social media, you're reading, you're watching on social media, time to take a break. It's okay. It's still going to be there unless for whatever reason the internet decides to crash in the moment that you take a break. But in that case, who cares? It's going to be gone anyways then. Right? But take a break. It's okay to take a break. You know, shut it off. Take it off your phone. Don't go to it on your computers and on your laptops and whatnot. Like, just don't deal with it for a little while. And also pay attention to, if you do that, pay attention to how you react. How is your body reacting to this? Are you having like, excuse me. Are you having like physical reactions to this? Are you feeling agitated, like you need to check it? These are signs to us that we have an issue with whatever it is, whether it's TV, social media, video games, food. I mean, because we can do that with food too. You can do that with so many things. There's so many things that, I mean, I'm sure other people can think of things in their own lives or other things that you have seen that you could say the same thing about. Like, yeah, definitely have seen that before, and it affects people because they become addicted to it. So that's just something that we need to be conscientious of. Another reason why I say that we have to be conscientious of it isn't just for the mental health reason, but also because what messages are being relayed to us? That's what we have to ask. And when we look at who it is that could possibly be having control of these things, we have to ask what would be their purpose, right? What would be their ultimate goal? Because, I mean, nobody does something without some kind of a goal in mind. So why would you put messaging and subliminal messaging and use psychological games to relay messages to people if it wasn't for a purpose? So do we know exactly what all of the messages are that are relayed to us? No, hell no. Of course we don't. We don't know all the messages that are relayed to us necessarily. And that is exactly why we should be aware of the fact that we do have messages relayed to us. And that's part of the reason, even more so, to limit how much time and energy we give to things like TV and video games and stuff like that. Because the less time that we give these things, the less bombardment of random messages we we have coming to us. Do you see what I'm saying? If you don't know what you're being fed in these messages, it's better to get the least amount of them as possible. And if you are going to take the risk of getting these messages relayed to you, you have to say, does the benefit outweigh the risk? So, is there information that is important in what you are consuming, so that if there is some random message in there, which again, now that you know and you're aware, and even if the seed is just planted, I fully am confident in the fact that you are less likely to be affected by these programming devices. And I feel like you will also start to see the symbology, and you will start to see what is being told to you in these messages. Like, what have you been being programmed with? You'll start to break free from this spell. And when you do, you can actually utilize the information that you are obtaining. And it's crazy because the information will look different to you. Once you're awakened from that like spell that they have people under, and it really is a spell too. You guys can do your own research. Please don't ever just take what I say and run with it and say, oh my God, well, Melody said this, so, it's got to be church. Because definitely, no, I can be wrong. It's rare. I mean, like, I was mistaken once. I thought I was wrong, but I was mistaken. You guys ever heard that joke? I thought I was wrong once, but I was mistaken. No, okay. Never mind. But I can be wrong, the information changes. Maybe my sources might not be completely on point at all times, because there is so much information out there, so. And also, everything is about perspective. This is my perspective on the things that I have read and educated myself on. So, always go back and do your own research on anything that you hear me say, always. But there is research to prove to you that when people watch programming, TV programming, which is exactly what it's called, because exactly what it is programming, it puts you into a state of trance. So you are basically awake, but kind of like asleep. It's also what a hypnosis would use. Somebody who's they're hypnosis. That's not what they're called. A person who's going to hypnotize somebody, they would use a similar method where they would put your conscious mind essentially to sleep or in a trance state, so that the subconscious mind is peaked and absorbing everything, because it always is anyways. But if the conscious mind is in a state of trance, it doesn't pay as much attention. So these are things that they have proven that they do with TV. They do it with different frequencies that they use. You may not even notice it. For example, the NBC has those 3 tones that they hit. Those types of things are used to trigger that sleep state and that hypnosis, because then you will just absorb whatever they feed you without even realizing it. So, yeah. Does anybody have any questions for me? Does anybody want to talk about anything from last week? What did you guys think about last week with the food? Was that helpful for anybody? Did anybody try any of the alkaline foods? Did anyone go and join Alkaline Academy? I saw that Jewel was doing a all fruit fast for, I don't remember how many days she was doing it for. I want to say 3. It might have been 30. You guys don't listen to me. It may have been more than that. But I saw she was doing a fruit fast, and she asked people if they would like to join her. So I'm wondering, did any of you join her in her fruit fast? Or leave me some comments, because I love when you guys talk to me and let me know what's been going on with you or how you feel about what I'm saying. If you have questions, if you think I'm crazy, if you agree with me, please feel free to speak out on it so we can. It's all about us just being better versions of ourselves than we were yesterday. We're not in competition with one another. We're just in competition with ourselves. Personally, anyways, I know that's how I am. I guess some people are competitive and they like to compete with other people, but you can never, ever, 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 ever be that other person. So I don't know. It's always best to just compete with yourself and be better than your old self. Yeah, for sure. So we are going to move on from our healing series, I think, next week. I'm not really sure for certain on that one yet. I haven't completely pinpointed yet what I want to talk about next week. So if you guys have a suggestion on something that you would like me to speak on, or something that you would like to educate us on, please feel free to put it in the comments or send me an email, monotfahme@gmail.com. You can send me a message on any social media, either my own personal social media, or you can message me on the Monotfahme social media. If you guys don't currently follow Monotfahme, you can follow everywhere, like literally everywhere. I want to say we're everywhere at Monotfahme. It's spelled Monotfahme. Like it's right in front of me and I can't spell. But that's all, folks. So make sure you guys go ahead and follow there if you're interested in doing that. And then also, what was I gonna say? Oh, yeah. Let me know if you guys have something you want to talk about, something in this world that you're seeing right now that's going on, that's not for you. I want to talk about it. I want to hear about it. Please feel free to let me know anywhere. Like I said, you guys can follow me on social media at I am Melody Waters. Pretty much everywhere. I think I am Melody Waters, except Snapchat. It's Melody's Closet. If you're a Snapchatter, you can follow me on there. Snapchat usually sees things first, as far as like, I don't know, most of my videos and stuff I do on Snapchat, I don't really share anywhere else. So there is some, like, I guess, special content that only goes on Snapchat. So that's kind of the thing. Are you guys like that too with your social medias? Like, all of my social media is different. Like, some things I cross share, but most things, like, if it's shared on Instagram, it kind of only gets shared on Instagram. If it's shared on Facebook, sometimes it only gets shared on Facebook. Like, I don't know. That's just how I am, I guess. Yet, and I will be back here on Monday. So come on back and kick it with me. And I'm not for me. Man, I love y'all. Thank you guys so much for coming in on this Monday evening and hanging out on Not For Me Mondays. And I hope you all have a fabulous week. Peace, love, and positive vibes to you and yours. I'll see y'all next week. Peace.